Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jabroni Drive. On this week's episode, we got the Brawling Brutes, Waller and Theory. Where was LA Knight? The return of the Judgment Day. Drew McIntyre still going heel. WWE releases Jade Cargill, MJF, and so much more. Timmy, anything you want to say to all the Schmidlavelites out there?
Well, as Randy Savage used to say, I'm the tower of power, too sweet to sour. I'm the funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
I love it. Woo. Oh my God. Bum, 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 bum. Ba-da. Timmy, I was a little bit all over the place with that entrance. I think that was I don't think Judgment Day returns. They've been around. They're not returning anywhere. They've been here. I know I said returns, but sometimes when you're going, you get lost in the sauce. Space is the place. You know what I mean, right?
I really honestly don't think anyone hears anything that you say on the intro.
Good. Well, I want them to know this is going to be a great episode, and also that we appreciate you listening. If you're listening and you haven't already done it, go over to our Instagram and give us a follow. You know what I mean? We're building our followers over there. Got 350 or so, and we're trying to build it up more. The goal eventually is 1,000. But we got to hit 400 first. So why don't you go over there and get us closer to that goal? We need your help. We love you, right? And you love us. We love you. There's a lot of love. Jabroni Drive, the hottest, fastest growing professional wrestling show in all of professional wrestling shows. A lot to cover this week. And Timmy, should we just get right into it? We'll go with SmackDown. Talk about SmackDown. The first thing I want to talk about, really impressive match, a tag match between the Brawling Brutes, Theory and Waller. I know I keep saying this Theory guy. I've got high hopes for him. I think he's going to be doing a lot, and maybe I go to bat for him a little bit too much, but I was really impressed with this match. Dare I say I was impressed with Ridge Holland too. Not someone that people really are big on, high on, but I thought he was good in this match and showing his strength, and I enjoyed it.
Well, I thought the match was really entertaining. I agree with you, but Tom, I mean, if we're kidding ourselves if we think that Ridge Holland was the actual star of that match. As you know, Theory can carry anyone in matches, and it seemed like, Tom, that Theory had a hand in making Ridge Holland almost look like, as I stated in our text line, he's making him look almost like Goldberg at this point.
You know what? Part of that did cross my mind. Is Ridge Holland, like, is he getting better, or is it just that Theory and Waller are two guys that are young and athletic and have really know how to sell and make their opponents look good, which is very important in professional wrestling. I don't want to spend too much time on that match, but just if you haven't checked it out, go check out that match. The big story was AJ Styles and John Cena were going to be fighting against Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, and signing a contract for their match at the upcoming PLE Fastlane. Timmy, they jumped him backstage. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with this Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa storyline, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier today. We said it on the show before, but this story with him and the SummerSlam betrayal, it's just been a flop to me. It was a mistake to have that happen. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and I'm watching this unfold, and look, this has happened before the Endeavor takeover, right? So this is a continuity, right? That you're expecting, and as soon as Endeavor takes over, they roll out the red carpet, they bring in The Rock, they bring in Pat McAfee, and it's hard. We shouldn't expect that to happen every week, right? Like somebody new getting rolled out, right? And that's not what's going to happen with Endeavor, right? Um, but it felt like, hey, we're heading in this new direction. Okay, we got, yeah, we've just taken over. Vince is pretty much completely out of the picture now, right? Triple H is obviously still in charge of creative and all this other stuff, um and this angle that they roll out on SmackDown with Cena, and I do love this the way they do this. They bring out these guys, and they go, hey, let's have a match. And KO is infamous for this. He doesn't roll all the time. He wants to start a fight. He wants to fight somebody, and we haven't really seen John Cena wrestle, but he does the same thing as KO. I'm in the mood to fight somebody. Let's have a match. And then like he gets teamed up with AJ Styles, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like AJ Styles is getting roped into his main event,
Nice
and
pop
now
for
they're
him too. The crowd seemed
yeah,
behind him.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, all right, like we can get behind this dude. He's kind of separated himself from the,
OC.
the OC, which has been an abomination since they started that. So we get to see him maybe get a push. And the match doesn't happen, and it's like a lot of just bullshit, like standing around, like weird. It's just the way SmackDown finished was just, it felt just so incomplete, right? Like there's almost like someone missed their spot or missed their cue, or like you're
Right.
waiting for somebody to come out and just nothing happens. And it's just and I'm watching the clock as we do. It's towards the end of the episode, and I'm like, all right, so they're beating the shit out of um who was it? AJ,
Cena.
yeah, Cena. I'm sorry.
Well, they
And
beat AJ Styles.
it,
I kind of liked the filming of that. Solo does the jump off the top. You
right
can't see
backstage, yeah.
him landing. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. And then they had the sparks going off and like made it a little bit more like, okay, they beat the hell out of him, and then he's taken away in the ambulance. Your boy from the OC, Carl Anderson, you know, I told him not to mess with the bloodline. I've been saying
Yeah.
this. Now's not the time, man. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. They put him in the ambulance, and he goes off, and now Cena's in the ring. Out comes
Yeah.
Solo and Jimmy.
Yeah, and then this is supposed to be the contract signing and all this other stuff, right? And Cena doesn't have a partner, obviously, and it just was like, dude, this is stupid. Like, there's 8 minutes left in the show, and this is the main event we're getting, like on their flagship show on Fox. Like this is not good. It just wasn't a good look for me. And yeah, they beat the shit out of Cena, and they're doing their finishing moves. Oh my god, here comes the thumb to the throat from Solo.
Ugh,
And
I hate that move, dude. And I hate when he looks at his thumb like this is gonna do damage. I've never seen a move more missed. Maybe the coup de grace, but the he yells to go for the spike and goes, and the guy's not there, and then the spike. Like, sorry to go off on that.
no,
I'm
no,
not a fan of that.
yeah, and I just don't know what's going on. Like we talked about direction, and we're sitting here like with no direction for the bloodline. There's no Roman Reigns again. Uh and
Yeah,
then
Jimmy seems lost. Solo is in a spot that he hasn't, to me, it hasn't earned.
mm,
And I think that's part of the reason why I dislike him. He tries to come off like this character that's this enforcer type. He stares at the thumb and all this other stuff, and it's like, dude, you're 6 inches shorter than everyone else out there that you're fighting. Like you're a big boy, whatever, but like it's just not like you haven't proven it to me. Like a guy like Gunther has proven it. A Drew McIntyre has proven it. A Sheamus is, you know what I mean? These guys are bangers out there. Gable is I feel like he puts on just like an average match. You know what
yeah,
I mean? And that's part of the reason why when his character does things, I don't buy it, you know?
yeah. So the point is, and we've tried to figure this out. It's like, where is this going? So we have a match now, it seems, because Jimmy signs the contract and puts it on Cena's chest and walks out. So I guess Cena has a tag match with the half
Handicap match they're
bloodline.
saying right now.
Yeah.
So it's
And
going to be Jimmy and Solo versus Cena in a handicap match, which that's not happening.
yeah, and do we have a like an answer to Jimmy being in the bloodline? Is he back in the bloodline? Is he not in the bloodline? Is he just it, it just it's just such a mess, dude. It really is. And
Yeah.
I hate to be so repetitive, but like that's what they're giving us every SmackDown. It's like, come on, man. Like let's get it together. Well, they went from some of the best storytelling with Bloodline to like this shit, a hodgepodge just like thrown together. Seems like no one knows what to do with Jimmy Uso. And I mean, it's the opposite with Jey Uso. I like his character arc right now. Like I like how he's going through a lot of turmoil on Raw, and he's got a journey ahead of himself, and he's got to prove himself to the main roster, and that's causing all sorts of different stirs in the locker room, and it's creating multiple storylines, right, for
Mm-hmm.
multiple characters, and it's cool to see. It's cool to see develop. Like I I can't recall seeing one wrestler create so many different storylines with his presence on a show. Like you got
Yeah.
him and Drew, right? And you got the Cody Rhodes thing, and then he's getting pulled over to the Judgment Day. I mean, he's got his hands in everything already. And it's
Right. And KO not trusting him and Sammy wanting him to stay and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like Jay's storyline is has worked for me so far. And what's ironic is last Monday on the show, it ended with Jay being beat down by the Judgment Day, and Drew was walking out and, kind of questioning, should I go back there and help him? Like a good guy would go help someone that's getting ganged up on. And he's decided he turns his back and then he thinks about it again. And then Cody's music hits and he comes out. And to me, I thought he should have just walked off, and you didn't need Cody coming out and saving him, and just let Jay get his ass kicked and kind of pay his penance for everything he's done the last couple of years. And Drew just saying, stay, like, I'm walking out. I'm not doing it. I'm not helping him. Kind of really taking a step forward in that heel turn. And on SmackDown, they did similar to what I had wanted on Raw, but I feel like this was a missed opportunity. The crowd was hot. They were ready to go. Cena's getting ganged up on. First of all, I would have liked it to be a little bit more of a brutal beatdown of Cena. I feel like they could have done some things with the chair on the head, and Solo does the thing in the corner and just kind of just nonstop pummeling and beating down and make it like ruthless. Like, oh my God, like this is like they're animals out there. This is ruthless. And just leave them lying in there in the ring. That's fine. But it would have been incredible, Timmy. You can't deny if LA Knight's music hit and he came out and helped Cena against Solo and Jimmy. I mean, that would have been a great moment. Is that moment coming? Do you see that? That's been rumored. Do you see that coming?
yeah,
Is he going to be the one that steps in for AJ Styles?
yeah. I just don't know the connection really. Um, yeah, you said there's rumors, and there's also rumors that yeah, LA Knight got hurt at like a house show or something like that, and there could have been a spot where he was supposed to, like you said, he was supposed to come out and make the save. I mean, it makes a lot of sense because he is the hottest thing going in WWE right now, and what better way to continue to feed the beast by throwing him in there with Cena and taking on the Bloodline, which I think that creates a whole different uh, avenue, if you will, for LA Knight. Because Cena's obviously a temporary guy. He's not going to be here for an extended period of time. They've already announced that he's going to be here for the foreseeable future. But what does that mean? He could just leave whenever he wants. But LA Knight, that creates a dynamic for him that opens himself up to the whole bloodline arc, and does that put him in the presence of Roman Reigns. He's already rubbed shoulders with Paul Heyman in the back. You remember that little promo? That was a
Yeah.
nice little promo. So if that's where they're going, I mean, he's had his dance with the Miz, and he's probably at this point a mid Carter, right? But he can carry himself. He's one of the best in the ring or in the ring on the mic. He's done a little battle with Austin Theory, and now we're starting to see him really rub shoulders with other types of personalities that he wouldn't have done 5-6 months ago. So
Right.
we'll see we'll see where it goes. But I would expect that to happen. He's going to need a partner of some sort, and if that's the rumors, I'm sure there's probably some veracity to it.
Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, and so those are the rumors, and we'll see if that comes up in this week's episode or the week after, leading into Fastlane. So on Raw last night, starts with Cody Rhodes. He's coming out and yet again saying why he brought in Jey and what he's been thinking and stuff, and that, not only to be interrupted again by the Judgment Day. He said he brought Jey over because that's just who he is, and he saw someone trying to do the right thing, and when someone makes the right decision, he's going to try to help them out, and that's why he came out. Out comes the Judgment Day, and that's going to lead to a championship match at the end of Raw. Timmy, this match was really good. I liked the way it was set up. There was chaos. The way they shot it, I thought was really well done. Things going on all over the ring. It looked very serious. Cody comes out. He does a suicide dive through the ropes, takes out JD McDonough. They're fighting on the sides. Adam Pearce comes out with the crew. They're pulling him in the back. There's everyone's fighting all over the ring, all around the side, and just in chaos. And it leads to some finishing move. There's a haluva kick in the corner. JD McDonough comes up with the belt, hits Sami Zayn in the head, knocking him out. Damian Priest rolls over, puts his hand on Sami Zayn. 1, 2, 3. Judgment Day retains the titles. McDonough helping again after earlier in the night being told by Damian Priest he would never be in the Judgment Day, and he never is going to be in the Judgment Day. Yada, yada, yada. Great match. Another win for the Judgment Day. I really enjoyed this. Is this all just a setup? Is this all a build to Survivor Series? This is setting up for a War Games match, right? This is going to be like last year, the War Games. You got 4 guys versus 4 guys. You're going to have Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes versus the Judgment Day with JD McDonough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. But just to real quick go back to the match. The match, we're starting to see a lot more of this type of like chaotic scene, right? With these finishes, and like from what I used to see, when I first started watching wrestling, it was like back in the Attitude Era, and it felt like at the end of every Raw, there was like this type of like chaotic like end to it, right? Like where there's just like 15 dudes and it's almost like turns into a lumberjack match, and we're starting to see like a lot more of this stuff happening. If you remember at the PLE, there was a lot of that with the Judgment Day and the chairs, and
The Pittsburgh street fight.
it was
Yeah.
very similar to the way this ended. Same wrestlers and stuff like that, but it's cool to see like this type of integration with like all the characters and the wrestlers, right? It's starting to really become just a lot more fun, right? Like the
It
race
was
to the
fun. It was
yeah,
just fun to watch. I liked it.
yeah. Now, I just War Games, I mean maybe, but again, like we're trying to, I think, establish like where like when are these stories going to start? Right? Like that's my thing. Is like what is this just a bunch of minutia like the or filler for the time being? Like because there's no real push, right? Besides the Shinsuke thing with um Seth Rollins.
Right.
Like what is Cody doing? Like what's Roman Reigns doing? Like there's no push for the heavyweight title. It's just like it's so stale.
Yeah.
You know, there's no story to it. There's no nothing. It's just at least when the bloodline was going, we used to get Roman coming out every single week, and he would just, he'd sit on, in the middle of the ring and raise his hand, and like we get to see him, and like he was just like this untouchable figure, right? And the build up to WrestleMania was awesome. We got Cody like cutting these promos left and right about finishing a story and all this stuff. And it's just like there's nothing, there's no substance there with the most important title in the WWE.
It's all
And
filler right now. Everything's
yeah,
filler.
yeah, it's just it's a shame, but like there
It's
should,
that time of year, dude. It's
yeah, but
just
there has to be some sort of like backstory. There has to be something going on. Like there can't just be nothing. Like there
right.
has to be something. And that's the thing that I want, and I'm not getting it at all. It's like there's no like, dude, I think the best story that's going on right now is the Gunther Intercontinental title. Like
Oh, 100%.
that's the best story. And we have multiple people now vying for that championship. And the I think for the last 2 months, the best thing going was Chad Gable and Gunther. And now it looks like they're pushing Ciampa, which we'll see how that plays out. It wouldn't be my choice, as you guys know. But I just it's your most important title, and it's not being even discussed or addressed at all in any way. Your major stores are just, they're playing patty cake with all this bullshit, Judgment Day, Bloodline, and all this other stuff. I just don't get it. I just want to, you had freaking, for God's sake, you had Drew McIntyre tag teaming with Matt Riddle. Like,
Yeah.
what do we do? Like, what was going on here? You know?
Well, you know what? And it's funny because initially I'm thinking, what's the best stories going on right now? And the first ones that popped in my head is the Jey Uso storyline and him paying his penance and stuff like that. Drew McIntyre and we're going to get to him in just a moment, but where is he going as a character and his arc, and the Chad Gable Gunther? That's what I'm saying. It can't be Roman because he hasn't been around for a month and more than a month and a half. I mean, it's been a while. And well, I mean, when was SummerSlam? SummerSlam was at the beginning of August,
Yeah.
or is that right? The beginning of August? It's almost
So,
October. It'd be 2 months. And so, now's the time, and it's traditional after SummerSlam that there is a bit of a lull a lot of times, and like, you want to peak at the right time, which is WrestleMania, and then everything's like kind of the build to that. So as we're talking about it, one, I would say this is their opportunity to showcase those titles that aren't main titles. The United States title and the Intercontinental title should be main event stuff right now. This should be really their build to these stories should be happening now, when it's like, okay, then we're going to try to peak the heavyweight championship and the undisputed championship closer to WrestleMania and those major PLEs. So this is the chance for the tag and the United States Intercontinental Championship to peak. Two, now that we're talking about it, I don't think we're going to be getting these storyline builds until after Fastlane, which is a shame because they're putting out a PLE and it just seems like it's filler. It's all filler. I'm sure it'll be entertaining, but we might get a swerve at Fastlane, one of them. And then after Fastlane, I think we're going to have Roman Reigns' return. We're going to have the build to what will be a month and a half later, Survivor Series in Chicago. That's what I think is
but
going to
we
happen
also,
as we're talking about it.
yeah. But even that though, I mean, we got more from The Rock. You know, last weekend when he's on ESPN on the McAfee show saying like, hey, he's probably going to be at WrestleMania 40, and it could be to face Roman Reigns. Like that's what we got from The Rock, and we still aren't getting anything from Roman Reigns. We don't. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe I don't. My memory is wrong, but I just remember that title belt used to exchange hands between Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker. I think Mankind had it for a couple of times, like once or twice, but
Yeah.
like it just seemed like it was constantly moving and constantly in play. And it was just like I remember the smoking gold belt, the smoking gun belt, right? Like the skull belt or whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was. Like it
yeah.
was just it was just a whole thing, and just to let some guy, it's not some guy. I know he's going to be one of the top wrestlers of all time at the end when it's all said and done, but he's essentially holding the belt hostage right now.
What they needed to do is, like you were talking about with The Rock and his interview on McAfee, Roman either needs some vignettes on SmackDown, some videos, some sit down interview with Michael Cole. Who cares? Whomever, if you get like a 30-minute interview and you show two parts of it on two episodes of SmackDown in the last couple months, something to touch base with Roman Reigns, ask the question, even if he says no comment. What is your thoughts on Jimmy Uso wanting to get back in the bloodline? No comment. You know what I mean? And then him going on and stuff like that, and kind of being like an arrogant kind of, they needed to do that. I feel like it is a mistake. We talked about it last week, or 2 weeks ago. You needed to do something like that just to touch base. It doesn't have to be every week, but in the 2 months that he hasn't been on the show, I think you could have had 3 episodes where you show a little video of him doing something, or, oh, Roman Reigns was on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever the hell it may be. You know what I mean? Get him out there promoting himself, promoting the brand, and telling a bit of a story and building that storyline for the months to come up. I think it'll happen after Fastlane, but we keep pushing it down. I think it'll happen here. I think it'll happen here. I think it'll happen. Like, let's go. Let's get it started, because these episodes, the storylines are being mailed in. It doesn't mean the action isn't good, but the storylines are being mailed in. It's filler. It's all filler. I need substance, damn it. Timmy, before we move on from those, there are a couple good matches that I want to suggest. If you didn't get to see the OT's first Bronson Reed match, that was a great match. Like we were saying, fun match, hard hitting. You got two 300 plus pound dudes out there that can both bench 600 pounds. It said in their thing. I don't know if that's actually true, but if that's true, that's incredible. They're moving around. They're running into each other. They're doing off the top rope action. It was pretty impressive to see those two behemoths out there just banging, dude. It was
No,
pretty incredible.
the HJB said that Otis doesn't do much for him in ring. I mean, I think he's entertaining.
Oh, no, 100% entertaining in and out of the ring. And the style, it's limited, but it's unique. And it's especially to have, I mean, they're mirror imaging each other. They're in the ring, and it was like two of the same dude going at it. And I loved it. It was unique. You don't see that match very often in professional wrestling.
Let me ask you this, Tom, and I I posed this to the group, and I don't think you saw it. You might have slipped by it, but is Bronson Reed just a bigger recreation of Rusev?
Nah. Rusev was. Now we're gonna get into. Can we circle back to that question when we bring up? I got one more thing, and then we're gonna get into some stuff, and let's circle back to Bronson Reed and Rusev. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
So going on with Raw, the Otis versus Bronson Reed, awesome match. I certainly love Miss Maxine Dupree. She comes out there. She's always
She's
good. And
she is not the girl next door.
no, oh, she is. Oh my goodness. So another match I want to talk about is Kofi versus Drew. I thought that match was awesome, hard hitting. It had a lot of stuff going on there, and more of that Drew being a heel, and more of him. He's getting more and more like this, like kind of just him against he doesn't care about anyone else. He only cares about what his mission and stuff like that, which I wonder if people will start to get behind, the anti-hero kind of thing. But it ends with you got the Viking Raiders coming out attacking Xavier Woods. Kofi sees that. Right then he gets hit with the Claiborne kick, and 1, 2,
Claymore.
3, the Claymore. And you get him leaving now as the Viking Raiders are attacking, similar to the week before, Great match. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. It was high, it was hard hitting, high flying, everything you want. Kofi has a style that's very good, and him and Drew are two of the best in the ring, and it's great to see. But the development of Drew's character is something that I'm really interested. I know we're both huge fans of Drew McIntyre. Are you liking the way it's going? I think the last couple of weeks have been pretty good.
Yeah, I don't mind him going heel. I can see he does it. He does it well. He plays it both sides pretty well, right? Seeing him as a face is good. As a heel, I can see him succeeding much better. I think I can see him going further as a heel than him as a face. Obviously, he was completely over as a face, but he has the ability to kind of go both ways, right? I just don't. My only issue with him going heel is that if he is going for a belt, right? Like it feels like everyone that besides Roman Reigns is a heel. I guess Gunther's a heel. I mean, do we want another heel holding another belt? Right? Like I don't know. Where are we at with that? Like
I
I
think
don't
he's going to be
I
Cody
as much as
Rhodes'
I
next
love Drew.
step. Stepping stone is, I think, where McIntyre's headed. Another the next obstacle for Cody Rhodes is my guess.
Yeah. I love the guy as a wrestler. I don't know what they have planned for him because it just feels like the direction's like a little wild, obviously. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
I'm
I thought he
hoping
was gonna I
we're
thought they were
trusting that WWE has a plan. I hope they have a plan. When are they going to start laying that plan?
what were they calling Matt Riddle and
McRiddle.
yeah. Yeah, I thought they were gonna do the McRiddle thing for like for a month or whatever, title reign, and then obviously Riddle got released. So
Yeah. All right. So that's going to bring us to our next topic. In the interview, we saw a clip of Kurt Angle talking about his last match in WWE and how he wanted his last match in WWE to be against John Cena. John Cena's career, if you're not aware, started with Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was doing open challenges. He'd call someone from the back. Out comes a young John Cena, spandex shorts, black pants, and shoe and boots, and he slaps Kurt Angle right across the face. Kurt Angle asks him what he offered that the other wrestlers didn't offer. He slaps Kurt Angle across the face and screams, "Ruthless aggression," which starts the ruthless aggression era in WWE. And it would be kind of full circle to have Kurt Angle come back, go into the Hall of Fame, final match against John Cena, obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest all time. They constantly say the greatest of all time on SmackDown, but they decide to put Kurt Angle against none other than future Hall of Famer, amazing athlete, incredible storyteller, the hottest merch sales guy in the biz, one of the best there is out there, Mr. Baron Corbin, who's, I mean, currently in an
Corbin.
incredible storyline on SmackDown. No, he's not on SmackDown. He must be on Raw. He's on Raw, right? Is he? Oh wait, no, he's on NXT now.
I think
And
he's
what's
I
that?
think he's actually he was on NXT tonight. He was in a match with or he's in a storyline with Braun Breaker.
Okay, well, and I don't like hate Baron Corbin. and it's a shame because the way I delivered that is like he's some sort of bum. He's not. He's a good wrestler, and I enjoy him. But Timmy, that's a major fumble, and that is the definition of what the WWE professional wrestling fan was dealing with in the years that you may have missed in your time off from watching professional or casually following it. So stories like this, where it seems like an opportunity is set up to be moving forward and doing something and being this great storyline, were just fumbled and missed, and no one, and Cena comes to WrestleMania, and you know Angle goes, man, I didn't know you were going to be here. He's like, yeah, I'm here. I wish we could have had a match together. He's like, I wanted us to have the match together, and oh, it's too late now. It's like, what the hell were they doing? What the hell were they thinking? This is the exact reason of what's going on. And so you had brought up Rusev earlier. Is Bronson Reed just a bigger Rusev? Well, Rusev, they started to have him be this, it's very cookie cutter. He's a Bulgarian brute. He comes out, he's waving the flag of another country, and everyone, oh, we're Americans. We don't like you. You're from Bulgaria, wherever, or Romania, wherever the hell he was from. And it's like, we don't like you, and this and that. And, he holds the title, and he's built his thing. And then he gets through that, and then somehow gets himself over with this Rusev Day thing. And now every day he comes out, the place goes nuts, and everyone is chanting Rusev Day, Rusev Day, Rusev Day, Rusev Day. And they had a great hot moment for him to be put over and put into a storyline. And what do? They fumble it. They don't make it happen. They go somewhere else. They squash them. They don't put them on TV. All this other BS that's been going on. So is Bronson Reed a bigger Rusev? I don't know. It's just kind of an example of how they're squashing him. I think Bronson Reed is going to be a guy that they have the Elimination Chamber PLE announced. I feel like Bronson Reed will be showcased in some sort of a title match. You mentioned he was in the Elimination Chamber last year and kind of showcased. And I think Waller will be showcased in the actual Elimination Chamber match. So I see Waller in the Elimination Chamber match, Bronson Reed in, I'm guessing maybe an Intercontinental title match or bigger. I don't know. Do they put him in the main event in a heavyweight championship match? That seems like a pretty steep climb there. So they're fumbling all this stuff, and WWE this past week with a lot of releases. They cleaned house, Timmy. And speaking of fumbling opportunities, Dolph Ziggler released, Elias released, Rick Boogs released. Riddle, I feel like his was he was asking for it.
Self-inflicted wound. Yeah.
Self-inflicted wound. Shelton Benjamin released. These are all athletes, Ziggler, Elias, Benjamin, that at one time or another were over, were the crowd wanted them. They cheered for him. We talk about Elias. He's one of the guys that you loved. He would come out. He would hit the music. The place would go nuts. What does WWE stand for? The whole place screaming, walk with Elias. He was over. How do you constantly fumble this stuff? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I guess they just select the guys that they feel like are going to represent and carry well. And I mean, dude, think of the marketing for Elias, right? He comes out with the guitar. Like, you can do like a legit album with him. You can do like guitar merchandise, like the shirts, the whole deal. Like, it has his logo in Walk with Elias with the WWE. I mean, talk about merchandise. Plus, the dude had the look, and he had just the charisma. He was great on the mic. And from what I saw of him, I thought he was completely entertaining. And this is only in the time that I was watching. I've only watching for a year now. And he was on TV for enough time that I thought he was hysterical. They pitch him, they take him off TV for a while, and they bring him back, and they shave his beard, and they do this whole other thing with him, and they make him Ezekiel, and he gets that over. It's like a complete separation from the Walk with Elias thing. And Oh man, it's just I want in another lifetime. I want to see how that succeeds. Right? Like I wish you can continue with that and see exactly where it goes. And then Ziggler, I always thought that dude was entertaining, and I told you I used to check in every once in a while, um, even when I wasn't watching, just to see. Like I would keep the temperature and see what was going on and if there's anything new and developing. But I'd always see him wrestling, yeah, towards the end of the Raws, and he just had a lot of like energy, dude. The guy would bring it every single time I seen him in a ring, and he would sell pretty well, and just a ball of energy in the ring. It's like a guy that you were just instantly drawn to and attracted to, and wanted to see do well. You're like, dude, this guy can handle himself.
It-
Um,
and he
and
had
he
a
looked the
great
part.
look. Yeah, he
Yeah.
had looked like kind of like a combination of like a Mr. Perfect with a Shawn Michaels kind of thing, and great drop kick. And like you said, he sold very well. And the crowd was behind him. If you go look it up, if you haven't seen it, you could argue he had the greatest cash in of all time. The place went bananas. Now, to cash in at the main event of WrestleMania, I mean, is like you can't really beat that. But the next night on Raw, it was an incredible moment, one of the best cash-ins of all time. We shared that on our IG. And Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, I know you're not so familiar with his stuff, but this guy was next level. He wrestled with Brock Lesnar. He wrestled in Minnesota. Big fan, big friends of him. A high flyer. Could do everything. And he was signed back and was supposed to be a major signing to bring back. He got injured right away and then just kind of got pushed to the undercard in the dark matches and this and that. But nothing but great things to be said about Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, Elias. From the guys in the back, even The Rock shouting out Dolph Ziggler and wishing him the best in his career moving forward. And I hope these guys can move on and maybe find something on the indie circuit if they want, or an AEW, and try to help themselves. The thing is, if they do go to indies and they get over and they create something on the indie scene, they will be asked back. And at that point, they're going to have some weight to throw around and be involved. Which brings me to somebody that left WWE on bad terms, didn't really do anything in the indie scene, decided to go into UFC, then went to AEW where he got into fights with everyone. Mr. CM Punk, a lot of rumors that he's going to be coming back. Timmy, I'm still thinking he will be coming back. The only thing is he's got no weight to throw around. He's going to have to come. If he does come back, WWE holds all the cards. There's nothing much left for CM Punk to do, you know?
I feel like we've are you bringing this up? Are you going to bring this up on every episode
I hate him.
until he actually comes back,
I
dude?
think he will. I think he will, and it's going to be must see TV. We were talking. Somebody was bringing it up today. A casual fan at the bar, like me and the HJB were talking about it, and some guys were like, "Oh, CM Punk's done. He's a what?" I was like, "You're a wrestling fan?" He's like, "Of course. Who isn't?" I said a lot of people, but I was like, I think he comes back and maybe does something. A big signing this week, a big blow to AEW and the women's roster, Miss Jade Cargill. Timmy, you see videos of this specimen of a
I
human
have not
being?
seen videos. I've seen photos of her, and she looks shredded. She looks everything like uh what the women's division is missing in the WWE. She looks the part. My God, she is in shape. She is just shredded from head to toe. I think she's got muscles in her face, dude. But
She
she's
looks like
quite
Storm, doesn't she?
a
From
little bit. Yeah, yeah,
X-Men
yeah, 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 yeah. She's
on steroids. Storm on steroids.
yeah. I mean, I don't know her style. I don't know, her. I think I read she's been in wrestling for 2 years, and I've seen quotes from her saying that like if she's going to do something, she's going to be fully committed to it, and it seems like this is going to be a big deal for her signing with the WWE. This is the ultimate, this is the ultimate playground for her. So, uh, um, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like she's going to the Performance Center for a little bit, I guess, to figure some things out, fine tune some stuff, and then maybe to NXT and possibly to the main roster, or maybe she just goes to the main roster. I mean, I don't know why you would hold on to talent like that. I think you should got showcase it right away.
Yeah, I would love for her to come out and get involved in the main event. She's WrestleMania women's main event like look. She has it. You know what I mean? Like you're drawn to her look. Like it's wow. You know what I mean? Like wow. Like look at
Mm.
this lady. And her standing face to face with a Rhea Ripley, with a Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. It's like these are that's a big time match, and I feel like she could be put into that right away. And I hope she does. If she's going to be on XT, I hope she comes in and beats the shit out of Becky Lynch. So I'm excited for Jade Cargill, and that's a huge blow to AEW in their women's division. I mean, this is a big win for WWE in taking a talent that is an AEW homegrown. Another AEW wrestler, and this is going to be kind of our last topic of the night. Mr. MJF is coming up on his contract, the bidding war of 2024. He's currently the AEW heavyweight champion. If WWE finds a way to sign MJF, that is going to be a major, major blow to AEW. Is that going to be the nail in the coffin for AEW?
I don't think so. There's always going to be other wrestling promotions, and this one is obviously started by Cody Rhodes. I think has legs. It's found its niche. It has a TV deal. They are mainstream. They're getting good numbers for pay-per-views, and look, you can't keep on rolling out 62-year-old Sting and having him jump through tables. They're going to have to continue to build the talent down there. But it seems like most of their guys are just very undersized wrestlers. Guys that have been kind of floating around the indie scene. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of guys that are clamoring to go to the AEW, right? Like it doesn't seem like that's a place, a destination, if you will. It's more so, the WWE trims their fat and the AEW scoops it up, which is fine. It's just about creative and what you do with those storylines with those wrestlers that you do pick up. So I think there's always going to be an AEW, like there's always been, a rival programming for the WWE, like the WCW. It's just a matter of how big it gets. And I don't think it'll ever, there's never going to be something that is as big as the WWE. But it's always, like you said, Tom, it's always good to have competition because it strives and makes your promotion strive to be better and do things, a little bit more outside the box. It makes you push, the envelope sometimes a little bit more to entertain your audience and put out the best product.
Can MJF jump right into the main event scene with WWE?
Yeah, I would say, again, without seeing him full time, I haven't really seen a match from start to finish with him, but he's got the charisma. He's got, from what I see, he's obviously one of the top wrestlers in AEW. I think he can make the transition. But look, there's been guys that have been, top wrestlers in their promotions and have came to the WWE and have fallen flat on their face, like Taz. I mean, Taz was a guy, top guy in ECW, comes to WWF and just, you know, pretty much sucked, in my opinion. Like he didn't get over at all. They didn't understand his style in wrestling. He got hurt a couple times, and then he ended up in the broadcast booth, right? Like,
Undersized, he's like when you come to WWE, you got the big boys here, and I'm not like I know that's like a cliche kind of statement, but AEW, like no one has the monster big athlete like WWE has. They don't have the Drew McIntyres. They don't have the Bobby Lashley's, the Brock Lesnar's, the Omos's, the Bronson Reeds, like it's on and on and on. They have so many, like Austin Theory, who is huge against some guys, doesn't look very big. You don't have a Braun Strowman over in AEW like you do in WWE, So when MJF comes over on the mic, he's great. He kind of reminds me of a Chris Jericho a little bit.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Jericho was an unbelievable athlete. I don't know how athletic MJF is, but look, he would fit right in, I would say. I just don't know where you would start him. And he's been like a homegrown guy, and he was loyal to Cody Rhodes. I know the whole story behind MJF. He begged to get on the promotion when they first rolled out that pay-per-view and sold out that stadium. And he was on the undercard, I think. And maybe he has some allegiance to AEW. I don't know if he'll ever come over, but Cody Rhodes might be able to pull that string and get him to transition over.
Yeah. And they could jump right into a storyline with that, being their history is a storied one and one that people would certainly want to tune into. And speaking of tuning in, we appreciate all the listeners out there tuning into our show this week and every week, and hopefully enjoying the content that we're saying, all things professional wrestling, WWE. If you like what we're doing, tell your friends. Please help us grow the show. We're on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Go out there, give us a follow, a like, a share, subscribe, whatever it is. Jabroni Drive, the fastest growing wrestling show in all of professional wrestling. Timmy, before we sign off, you got anything you want to say to all the Schmidt and Lavellites out there?
Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh!
God bless America. A little fun fact we read today about DDP suing Jay-Z for the diamond sign that he had created and successfully suing an undisclosed amount. I mean, if you had to guess, how much money do you think Jay-Z had to pay DDP for that diamond cutter sign that he stole?
$99.
$99.
Yeah.
He's got $99 in a sign one. I don't know.
In the lawsuit ain't one.
You got 99 problems and a lawsuit ain't one.
Is one, I guess.
Is one. Certainly was. That's how big professional wrestling was. That DDP is winning lawsuits against Jay-Z for stealing his symbol. Well, until next week, my name's Tom Lavelle. As always, I'm accompanied by Mr. Timothy Schmidt. This has been another episode of Jabroni Drive. We love you. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. God bless you, and God bless America. Ho! Bye, everybody! Thanks again. Sayonara.